So I think let's get started. Hello everyone and welcome to the uh, second day of the PTG, the second day of open discussion topics. So today we have a packed agenda to cover. We have the share encryption at rest, and we have replication improvements. We also have some operational concerns and other questions that showed up. Um, the updates for the affinity and anti-affinity spec, um, followed by the force deleting subnet spec discussion, and a bit of eventlet removal and some tech data at the end. So yeah, we are recording everything in case you didn't catch any of the discussions that we had yesterday or on Monday. All of the recordings are currently in the OpenStack Manila YouTube channel. I'm doing my best to update them at the end of every single session, every single day. So we have all of yesterday's sessions uploaded already, and also Monday's session, which was the retrospective. So in case you missed something, please go to this link and then you'll be able to see the discussions, and also we are doing our best to take the notes. Right, without further ado, I think we can get started with our first topic for today, which is sharing encryption at rest for NetApp on tap drivers. So, Sai, first yours.
Yeah, thank you, Carlos. Yeah. Hello, everyone. So, I'm Sai from NetApp, and I'm here with the topic like enabling the share encryption at rest for the NetApp driver whenever we pass Barbican secret ref. We know that there is an encryption available at the moment using the custom extra specs for the share type, but we cannot actually control. We don't have the control on that encryption process. So Kiran has worked on this spec, and thanks, Kiran. The spec is very clear. So from the spec, we are leveraging only one point, that is, if you go to the proposed workflow, right, server encryption key ref. Maybe I don't know how many of you know this spec, but yeah. So I gave the spec link. Yeah, here, correct. So yes, line number 91. So here he is introducing two kind of encryption keys. One is share encryption key and share server encryption key. So we are leveraging the second one, share server encryption key. Yeah, I think yeah, we can go back to that Etherpad maybe, yeah, because if you go through the spec, it will take time. Mm. So what we are proposing is that whenever somebody is passing this in the share create command, giving a secret href for the share encryption key ref, we will be doing the proposed workflow below. So I have noted down the steps one by one, like if you see, right. So whenever there is a this is the secret is passed, we will leverage that secret and we will create a secret href, line number 13. So href, or we can even query the key manager secret API for this href. And also uh, uh, I am leveraging application credential ID from the same spec that is done by the Kiran. So with that, I will query application credentials API and get application credential secret. So why I am collecting all this is in the we have an on tap REST API where we do a post. If you see line number 22, where we do a post of this for the particular SVM. So when we do this, it is nothing but that we are going to configure a Barbican key manager service for this specified SVM. So that means this is kind of protected by this Barbican key manager, is what this post URL doing. And once we have this configured and for the share creation, so we will automatically enable the encryption from on tap side on the share that is created. So we already have that option, right, like enable true option in the on tap volume API. I did not actually, sorry, miss to mention this, but we have a workflow where we have a REST API. While creating the share, we can enable this share encryption basically. So at a high level, this is a workflow from NetApp driver piece. And yeah, I have noted down the use cases. Line number 41, what happens when you create a share newly with this. We will create a share server, and we will attach this to this secret ref to and barbican kms for the vserver, like I mentioned, and we also enable the share encryption. So in the share creation too, what happens if you are passing the same network and with a different share encryption key reference? So we will basically throw error saying we would not support this because we don't want to rekey the v server at the moment. We are not going with the rekey approach at the moment, so the share creation fails. And in the share 3 creation, line number 45, the share creation with the same network without passing the share encryption key reference. So here, if somebody is passing a share type with extra spec encryption true, for the same v server, we will attach this share and we will enable the encryption. But if by default we will disable the encryption, and also if somebody is passing encryption false, we will disable. So these are the use cases that we are looking at. And I just kept one more discussion point like volume migration stuff. So at the moment, yeah, we don't really looking at supporting the migrating these volumes from vserver to vserver, because they will have the different barbican the secrets attached to the vserver. So yeah, this is at a high level from NetApp side. And yeah, thanks once again. If Kiran is here, the spec is very clear. And thank you, Kiran, for working on the spec.
Sorry, one question we discussed today morning that
Okay.
yeah, Carlos, can you please go to that? I mean, go to top the line number where uh, line number
Mm.
9, line number 9 where we give encryption key, right? So
Mm-hmm.
we give secret ref and UID, right? I mean, we discussed is name not
Any,
possible to give? Yeah,
I
I
You
mean
have
that is
checked.
the
can
question.
provide either UID or the secret rep. Basically, secret rep itself contains the UID. It doesn't matter. For
No,
the
no.
convenience, you can.
Okay. No, there is no name for any secret we create. There should be a name for the secret we are creating, right?
But
It doesn't
the
matter.
name
See,
can
two
be,
secrets can have the same name. So
yes,
basically,
yes.
name is not the unique identity. So we should always use the UID or the secret ref.
That is fine. Even today, even Manila volume, Manila share when we create, yeah, we can have same name, but UID is different. But when you try to delete via name, so when there is a conflict, right, we throw error. So similarly, like even if you use a name is going to be simple for the user to consume, right? And so yeah, if name two names are there, if there's a conflict, right? We'll throw error. Like we are not able to know, like we are not. I mean, we will not be
Yeah,
able
like
to know which
volume
name. Yeah, we can have
implementation.
conflict. Yeah. I think from user perspective, right, like knowing this ref and secret ref, knowing the UID, that would be like a little cumbersome, right? So we can have name. That's what actually, yeah, me and Sai
See
discussed.
this.
Just bring it up here.
See
Yeah,
this encryption key ref or the secret ref is created by the end user itself.
Mm.
If
yeah,
you are the one who is creating this secret ref in the Barbican,
yeah.
you must know the href or UID. I
No, we have
don't
to
think
mug.
you sh-
Okay. Now name I can call name example I can call like my Visera one key, Visera two key, something like that, right? But secret ref it is coming in the output. It is so maybe
see
I still feel
basically
like
we can add
yeah,
the support with the name, but we know that there is a limitation that if two secrets with the same name exist, this is
yeah.
not going to work. Better we keep restricted to the href because even uh, the API of the Barbican, if you create the secret, if you have to do the get call, you have to specify UID or href. So let's stick with it only.
Okay. Yeah, I just shared my thought. Yeah, maybe we'll see. Yeah. Um,
So,
um, Yeah,
I
that is one
uh, I
common.
had
Yeah,
a
yeah,
I had a
yeah. Go
question
ahead.
on
Yeah.
line 14, and this was about how the secret href was created from that UUID. Um, I I don't want to go into the sausage making, but that is certainly not the user's input, right? This is something that the Manila API would construct.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Okay.
See, this secret href itself contains the UID. So it doesn't matter whether you pass UID or secret href while creating the share. If you pass the UID, Manila itself will internally generate this secret href
Right,
link
sure.
while talking with Barbican.
Yeah. At line number 13, we have the reference, right? That is a secret ref, right? Line number 13.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, right. That
HTTPS.
this is one example. The
The
UID
href,
itself
href.
is
Yeah.
Yeah, my concern is with where you find the key manager and how it's exposed to an external entity like ONTAP versus the OpenStack user. So technically, depending on how you've configured your cloud, right, you could expose different endpoints to different people. So a service might be different when consumed by end users versus something like ONTAP, which is considered part of the cloud. So if somebody gives you an href that they use, that includes a keystone endpoint and the Barbican
Manager.
endpoint that they use, it may
Mm.
not be what ONTAP can reach even, or maybe not the preferred path for ONTAP to key manager communication. So something for you to explore. I'm not saying that that could be
Mhm.
wrong in every deployment, or that
Got,
could
got
be
it.
different
Yeah.
in every deployment. And I think we discussed this already on the spec. And my preference was that you allow the user to input the least
UUID.
information so that you if the information that you already know, or it's easily available from an API, that would be something that Manila can do, right? So just like Saranan was thinking about, can I be a little more user friendly by using a name instead of a UUID? I have the same thought around asking the user to go find what the href would be from Barbican, grab it and pass it as the input. Um,
Mhm.
but we've discussed that over the spec, and I don't want to litigate that. Um, as long as you're able to you know differentiate different things, such as what is configured onto ONTAP versus what's configured to the user, I
Mhm.
think that's fine. That Manila finds that out instead of the end user. I also think that that names can be you know can be a better user experience, but I'm not sure, like, how you want to handle the errors and so on for that, um, and if it's an easy improvement over this, or maybe it's a little more troublesome than required.
Mhm.
I mean, obviously, name can provide the better experience with respect to remembering the entity. But just think logically, like if I have 100 secrets having the same name, I'm triggering the same API, I'm getting the same error. What's the point? If you know that UID is unique,
I do
I
hope
don't
that
think.
I mean, so eventually you'd think that something like, I mean, this is automation, and automation can easily figure all of this out. So maybe there's somebody, for an end user, this would be a one-click workflow or something. But if
Mhm.
somebody does want to do this manually, then that would be a better user experience, just having a name instead of a UUID. But I do think it's not logical to have 100 secrets with the same name, just because you can. Um, but yeah, I mean, a minor point that you can even discuss over implementation. And have you guys started prototyping this?
Ye- Yes, Gautam. I mean, just within few days we started, right? I mean,
Okay, makes sense,
yeah.
because I was curious about how the application credentials stuff is working. Um,
Yeah, the it's available for us privately from the on tap.
Mhm.
So yeah, we tested this locally already. We tested it. How is it working?
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
One thing I am curious about is
Mhm.
application credentials. When you create them, they would have a lifetime or indefinite, right? So that is something that we might end up having to worry about, given that I mean, I don't know whether ONTAP repeatedly requests information from OpenStack,
Mm.
or is it just a one-time thing? And if it is something that it does over a period of time, maybe the application credential itself might expire, or the secrets rotated by somebody else that's an administrator on OpenStack. There is some way to you know refresh the creds, for
Yeah, while
instance.
Yeah.
creating the application credentials, we have the expiry stuff. Maybe
Mm,
we'll have to handle that. Yeah, I hope
No, no, no.
Kiran.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, today, Gautam, yeah, on tap, right? Yeah, so we are doing it only one time.
mhm.
Like even on tap, generally, what on tap will do, they'll keep checking. You are right. They'll keep
Mm.
checking every 1 hour, 30 minutes. When they find something is misconfigured, right? Even they will offline the volume, they'll offline the share. So that is a general concept, but that one we are not implementing here in on tap, and we consider that as part of phase two. So
Yeah,
now in phase one of ONTAP, we are not doing that repetitive check. Yeah, but it is on the cards for ONTAP later. Yeah. Okay.
makes sense. So, whatever we do, I mean, maybe when we're updating the
Yeah.
spec,
Yeah.
if
Yeah.
this is
Yeah.
an open item, just call it out as one, saying this is something that
Yeah. Yeah.
is a limitation in the first phase of implementation. And
Okay.
somebody, even who's reading the docs, would have to understand that behavior
Sure. Sure. Yeah.
for changes. I think I had a couple of other questions on line 52. One
Mm-hmm.
was around, so you said you cannot create a share with the same network but a different server encryption key. It will say that the V server is already configured with a server encryption key that's different, and so on. By the time the user gets this error, I mean it's basically coming all the way from the back end. So this would not be a synchronous error message, right? It'll be an asynchronous message. So that's one. But I'm wondering, I mean, could the user's actions be intentional? For one,
See, what we can probably do is, like, if you have the V server that is being already configured and being used for the first share, and if you try to create the second share on the same V server with a different server encryption key, we basically just ignore the encryption key passed in the share create API for the second share, because that is invalid.
mm, ignoring it would be a weird experience for an end user, right?
Hmm.
Because he must be thinking it accepted the key ref.
Right.
Yeah.
It in the typical environment, you will be having single share server under the single share network.
Not really. So you could have a share network that spans multiple backends, and so you can have multiple share servers already today, with the same share network and the same share subnet even.
Ah.
So you're introducing a different kind of a limitation here, where you're saying that
No, no, no. I am not introducing the limitations. I am saying, I mean, what you are saying is correct, but that is not the way our deployment works. That's it.
I see. Okay, but the code right now allows you to do this,
Yeah.
where you can have multiple share servers in the same subnet, even under the same share network. Um, so I'm wondering if you should allow that use case of having a different server encryption key, and what that would mean for a backend is disqualify an existing share server if the key is different, and request Manila for a new server. Uh, Maybe that's the behavior the user really wants.
I think it makes sense
I
how it is.
don't know.
No.
See, basically, if you are trying to find a different share server,
Mhm.
just because having the different share encryption key, this is more like getting the scheduling authority just by using some different server encryption key.
The scheduler doesn't care
But
about how many share servers are there. Today, you can control the number of share servers by using configuration. You can say you can have a maximum of 5 shares per share server. That just creates more and more share servers as the necessity grows. So there are ways to make the share driver do. I mean, place the shares on different share servers already.
so mm,
Okay, so basically, what you are saying is that anyway, if you have a different share encryption key ref, you will try to find the share server, and if the compatible share server exists, and that share server is having some encryption key ref which is different than what is being specified by the current workflow of ShareCreate API.
Yeah, it's not a
We
compatible server
just
in my view. So
Yeah,
so it should create another one.
yeah, I agree
okay.
with that. And it's kind of like the same of what we do with the share networks, right? As soon as our projects, as soon as we identify that something is not matching or we don't have a share server created for that specific, um, with that specific parameters, then we just request another one to be created. And I agree that maybe, like just ignoring the key might cause some undesired output for the users. So I think this approach makes sense. Like trying to, as soon as we identify that there is a share server created, it would be eligible, but the encryption key doesn't match, then we should just create another
So,
one.
so this list of compatible share server is being derived from the backend, right? Or this is being done by the Manila.
Yeah, in the share manager, there's a method called, I think, provision share servers, and then in that method we'll go look at the list of share servers and check which ones match with the request, and if there are some that match, like the share networks, everything like that. So we do
No,
that query already.
it's in the share driver.
Oh,
So it's
yeah,
totally
the
up
share
to the share
driver.
driver to disqualify something. Um,
Okay, so basically, in that case, this will be the responsibility of the respective driver to validate
Correct.
Yes,
or get the compatible share server based on this additional input of new encryption key ref.
yes.
Yeah.
but mm,
I think it makes
whenever
sense for me.
yeah,
Yeah.
Gautam, I hear you actually, but creating a new share server just because of new encryption key, right? So like creating a share server is not just like vServer, right? We are creating a lot of leaves. So example, if it is 8 node cluster, right, and we'll be losing 8 leaf. Already, like your number of leaf limitation per node. So it's going to eat up those kind of resources. And so right now I see like maybe I'm not sure about SAP. Even the other customer also, they are differentiating the tenant model using the shared network. So they assume like one shared network means that one share server. That's how they are onboarding tenant. Like yeah,
Yeah.
I heard you mentioned like one share network can be there multiple share servers. But yeah, that is correct. But maybe the customer we see even I see like it is like a uh, the resource may be wasted in on tap because of so many leaf you have to create, so many ports will be coming in, and all will happen just because of user is picking up a new encryption key.
Right. So you want to prevent a misuse, but
Ah, hmm,
the code to do that is already there. Um,
hmm.
so technically, we're yeah. If you want to prevent misuse, I think we need something else doing that, not from the API itself, rather than end up in the share server, end up in the share driver, and have a error there. Maybe we want to have some way to tie share networks and encryption keys and create a quota out of that. That way you can have an immediate feedback saying, hey, what you're trying to do is disallowed by your administrator. Because in such deployments they expect to control how many encryption keys you can have with a specific share network, and hence control how many share servers are spawned out of that.
Can you explain about quota? What is it quota here? I mean, how
Yeah.
it is coming in picture?
So a quota is basically, I mean, you today we have all sorts of quotas, correct?
Yeah.
So if
Mhm.
somebody says, I want to create 10 share networks, that's possible today because that's the default quota they have.
Yeah.
But in a deployment like you suggest, where you're saying, oh, I want to control the number of shared servers some tenants can get, maybe they're restricted by that quota by saying
or
they set it to one.
or we can have some simple config option where kind of create a different share server for non-matching encryption key, something like some config option. If this is being set by the backend, we will create the new server.
Mhm.
Otherwise, we'll simply raise the error and close the matter there itself.
Yeah, I think that's kind of fine. At least, yeah. Gautam, yeah. Carlos, any inputs on that? Yeah. What Kiran proposed, yeah, I think that looks like we can have option. Yeah, if that option is enabled, then yeah, like as you mentioned, like we'll check for compatibility of that V servers, then we'll go and create it. If it is not matching, otherwise we'll ignore and throw error. Yeah, that way we can control our resources non time.
Uh, I mean,
Yeah, maybe we
I would
can
rather
discuss.
hope,
Yeah, okay.
yeah, I would
Uh-huh.
hope that it is a little more flexible than a blanket config option. But yeah, this seems like something that we can, you can think a little bit more about it, see what makes sense, both in implementation perspective and UX perspective, UX for both users and the administrators that are configuring this, and figure out what's a good approach there. Either case, I think, I mean, somewhere bubbling up the fact that you as an end user cannot have an endless number of encryption keys is a good idea. Whether that comes as an asynchronous error message or some sort of a synchronous error message, and it also prevents misuse on service provider clouds and so on. But I'm just the line 53. The concern was different. I think the specification said that you can have a share encryption key that is different from a share server encryption key,
Yeah.
and you can still have those shares land on the same server. That's
No,
still the
so
case.
what I had specified in the spec is basically if someone is trying to create the share with specifying both the parameters,
Then it,
since the share encryption key will be more granular, we simply ignore the server encryption key and we specify that in the log message that since we specified both, the share encryption key will be considered instead of server encryption key, and we continue.
Okay. I mean, ideally, you would want to prevent somebody from using both um, right from the get-go, right? Like it's confusing as to what really has been applied, right?
Right. We can change that in the API layer. Yeah, you can. I mean, can someone write at line after line number 53 that user must provide either of them and not both?
Right. And so that is still the case, is what I'm understanding, that you can override the server encryption key if you have a share encryption key, or you use a share type which has its own encryption specs that will cause the creation of an encryption key, and that will override the server encryption key basically for that particular share, right? That's still the case.
It all depend. Yeah, I mean, it depends how. See, for example, if I created a share with the server encryption key, and if I create the second share with its own encryption key, uh, we will be passing this encryption key to the backend driver. So backend driver now knows that this share belongs to particular share server, which already has encryption key, and instead of performing the encryption using the server encryption key, it should give priority to the encryption key which is being passed by the API call.
Yes, and I mean, the way you said it makes me feel like it is up to the driver, but it's not. It should be a requirement that the driver behaves consistently with
See,
something, right?
see,
Is that what you mean?
see,
or
I
is it
mean, I don't have a use case where particular driver having supporting both. The server encryption key thing is what we added for supporting the NetApp.
Yeah,
Uh,
we support only that. Encryption key we are not supporting. Yeah,
oh, I see.
we support on.
Okay.
Yeah,
Only
because we don't have
they
encryption at
don't
every
have.
share level. Yeah, we have encryption at vServer level, and then any share you create, you can enable disable encryption for that individual share. But the key it's applied at vServer level, Gautam.
I see. But the
So yeah,
specification that you had, I think, began with share level encryption.
the goal says share encryption, but if you go down, we are only reusing the share server encryption. So
yeah.
yeah, yeah, ultimately it's a share server encryption. Whoever is putting this, and we will enable share encryption in a different way. But this will be applied to only a vServer. Gautam.
Right. That comes to the other question that I added here. Like, is the DSS false implementation be proposed as well? Like, because we are talking about the encryption of the shared servers, but will there be an approach for DHSS false as well? Are you guys
No,
planning on that?
this is not considered as of yet
No,
because we are
This
considering this by passing the API call. With
yeah.
DHSS false, we have the share servers predefined.
So what we will do, that, whatever Sai is doing REST API, right? So on tap also we support Barbican now. So we will document in autumn documentation like API or CLI. The customer can manually go to the vServer of ONTAP and configure Barbican with the OpenStack endpoint if they want. So from OpenStack for DHSS faults, we will control, enable or disable encryption. That's what that we are already doing. We'll continue doing that. So
Yeah,
no
but
new change will be coming in. Yeah.
if that is done manually, even if it's done manually, then that opens the possibility of allowing the per share encryption as well, right? Because you're mentioning, and I think as part of like one of the concerns that Gotham mentioned, uh,
Uh,
the spec stated that share encryption, like it can override the server encryption. So as soon as that is configured in the backend, then it would allow, if I understand it correctly, for a share encryption to be configured, and then that would override the share server encryption key that's configured in the backend, like manually, whatever. But I mean that is not going to be a thing right now, right? Is if I understand correctly.
yeah, maybe we need to control that. Okay, so yeah, so when somebody is creating a share of type DHSS false, and if they pass this parameter like a server encryption key, and yeah, maybe error should be thrown because of that for the particular backend, right? Yeah, we can't pass this. I think again you got what Carlos mentioned, right? We have to have some handling, right? So that yeah, without handling, like how they will know. So example, yeah, we are creating a share on a DHSS false vServer. I mean, it's already created by the user, right, and on tap. But if they are passing these arguments, this server encryption key, that is not even allowed, right? Because nothing will happen. So user should know that. So even the user is passing it, but encryption
You mean
cannot be
you mean if you are trying to create a share with a share type having DHSS as a false,
false. Yeah, yeah.
missing there is
But the user
the
is but user is passing this share server encryption key. I mean server encryption key.
you can throw OSC error.
Some error we have to throw. Oh, that is only for yeah NetApp. Yeah, I mean one
that
should
can
have
be
done this, but
evaluated in the API layer itself, right? From the share
yeah,
type,
yeah,
whether
yeah,
DHSS is true or false.
yeah.
Okay.
From
Okay.
the API layer, we will pretty much stop like for every single driver that might implement encryption. We need to reach the backend. I think this, of course, now NetApp would be the only driver supporting, like the third-party driver supporting, and that's where we also need the testing bit in a first-party driver. But if we block that in the API layer, then it means that we are not allowing the chance for other drivers to respond what they can and cannot do. So I think this call should reach the driver, even if we let it fail at the driver level and then throw a user message, something. But I don't think at the moment would be a good idea for us to fail at the API, because it means that we kind of like do not allow other drivers to do this, which would be kind of normal as well to configure per share encryption key, something like that. I don't know if what I'm saying makes sense or if other people agree, Gotham or someone else. But yeah, that's what I was thinking at least for this.
So, I mean, part of it would be scheduling. So, the scheduler would know uh, where to put something based on some common extra specs. And so, I'm assuming when with encryption, you're going to have that as well. And when you have something like a server encryption key being a part of it, maybe we should just pass that up to the scheduler and have it verify if the backend supports it. And all the DHSS false backends are hence eliminated with that. If that's the case. If not, like I guess, I mean, I'm still very confused about this spec, partially because now we're conflating per share encryption and server level encryption into the same specification. I suppose this
Okay.
requires a rewrite. That's what I am seeing, because I think the questions that we had seem like, okay, this is not what we're implementing, so we're not worrying about it at the moment. And that's fair. I just need the spec updated perhaps with what the current proposal is, because it felt like we were touching parts that are not going to be implemented anytime soon.
Okay. Maybe we can update at the top that share encryption is not possible with the NetApp driver. So we will support only share server encryption. Okay. Yeah. Maybe that one we could update it at the top. Okay. Yeah. And so all the implementation order you see, right? It's all for share server level only. But generally, user will not create share server directly, right? They will always create share, right? So that's why Sai worked on creating these workflows for you. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, that still makes sense. I'm just
Yeah. Yeah.
concerned about the
Yeah.
rest of the UX that was built around the aspect that it was all controlled per
See,
share.
this spec was already created for the share encryption. It was merged,
Yeah.
uh, and now it's being modified to consider this third scenario, that is the share server encryption. So, as I have discussed this before multiple times, initially it was designed to replicate what Cinder does, that is having the share type with encryption information. We added the use case to allow end user to pass the share key, uh, I mean, share level encryption key ref, and now the third addition is to share server level encryption key ref. What you are saying is now to remove all this stuff and just focus on the share server encryption.
Yeah, I mean, if that spec is not going to be implemented, I don't see the
No, the
value of doing
part, see, the part of the share server encryption, the way share server encryption is done using the share type is the way it is done in the Cinder, and the respective pull requests are being implemented and tested. It what it Manila does is it creates the encryption key ref and pass to the backend driver. There is no backend driver available to test this. What the backend driver we have or under the test can possibly do the testing is to test the share server level encryption key ref. That doesn't mean that whatever the spec or the implementation done for the share encryption is invalid just because the backend driver support doesn't exist. The internal logic of having the share type and encryption metadata associated with the share type is inherited from the Cinder.
yes. Without a backend, that would not be usable, right?
Yeah, without the backend, it's not usable. So basically, we come to know this. The NetApp only supports share server level encryption.
We also, Barbie can support non-tap. It is pending for last 8 years. So because of all of you, like we pushed it and we implemented in on-tap. Okay. Yeah.
No, I'm
So
sure, like, and this
yeah,
is the
yeah,
way software is built over the years.
yeah, yeah.
So
Okay,
that's
yeah,
totally fine. I mean,
yeah.
and it's great that we're revising designs and so on, and we're communicating this pretty openly. So it is a good thing to update the specification, and say that sure, if you want to keep around things for a future implementation, that's totally fine too. Saying this is what we expect a future driver that supports per share encryption to do, except we might not merge the implementation of it, given that there is no backend for it. If you did have a reference driver implementation, I would actually love it, and we would merge it. And I would love to implement this for the FFS driver, for instance, because I know that there are some smarts that we could use around to get FS script to work with FFS at a per share level. Um, Except I'm not sure how the API would work with other drivers, and I want to see some more hands in the room saying this makes sense for the different backends, and this is possible. Um, but right now we're just talking uh, theory, and that's what is a little bit unsettling. So I was suggesting we rewrite the spec to try to be more specific around server encryption. That way we can build that UX specific to that. And I'm not saying we'll throw away the work that we've done in the past for share level encryption. Maybe we should discuss that in a different context. And NetApp's not going to implement it. That's okay. Does that make sense? I
Yeah.
mean,
When you say spec, you mean the original spec written by Kiran, or you mean this Etherpad?
no, the original spec written by Kiran.
Original speak.
Okay, okay.
Nice. Okay.
See,
Because I
one thing
remember
I'll
the
tell you.
context that people come in with, because you've linked the spec. It's just so people have read that spec, and so that's what they assume is the stuff. But we're discussing something that's slightly different.
Mm.
Yeah, just would like to tell you only one thing. NetApp 100% will never implement encryption at individual share level, even though we can enable disable at individual share level. Today, all the key providers we support, like Amazon, Azure, Google, lot of key providers, right? We always support at vServer level only.
Mm.
So that is a solution on tap we have built. Okay, yeah, that is what we are applying here. Yeah, that's what we call server encryption key. Actually, Kiran accommodated our solution in his spec because of this ask only. Okay, I just wanted to tell you that. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, makes
I will not
sense.
implement encryption at share level, though we can enable disable at share level. Yeah, that's what it is. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Thank you.
Thank you.
So we should basically remove the share level encryption out of the picture. Just consider the share server level encryption. Share server, yeah. Okay, I
Yeah.
will basically create the new spec. Just abandon the existing spec and PRs and etc. Basically, it was a huge work, but if that is how it is, then it's fine. Uh, I, I'll create the new spec and then we can add this use cases for the share server encryption.
I think parts of it you would retain, right? Because the communication with Barbican and all of those pieces would still remain.
Yeah, those will do.
Yeah, there'll be
Yeah.
common bits that might be reused, and I don't know. I mean, maybe we will have a different set of drivers that will handle this.
Cool. Awesome. Thanks for the input. Any other thoughts?
Yeah.
Thank you.
So with the share server encryption key, if there is no association with the share type extra spec. So this thing that you have mentioned as the line number 62, it's completely invalid. it will be pretty much simple as just accept the share server encryption key ref and handle the cases internally. It has no association with the share type because share type was being designed to deal with the share encryption the way it exists into the sender.
Yeah. Okay. I think yeah.
Yeah, okay. Sai, anyway, your understanding, right, from Kiran, and anyway, let Kiran do that. And but yeah,
Sure.
you will keep
Sure.
developing this way. Yeah, if needed,
Sure.
we can have a call with Gautam, Carlos, Kiran, Maurice, right? Maybe 2 weeks later, so that we'll be able to converge and yeah, develop in a right way. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Sure.
Yeah. Yeah.
sounds good. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, everyone.
Anything else you'd like to add? Cool. Thanks, Sarah. Thanks for bringing this up, Sai, and thank you everyone for participating on the discussions, and also for our Keystone folks to joining us, our Barbican folks that joined us too. Really nice to have you in the room. Um, awesome. All right. I think that takes us to the next topic, which is replication improvements. We kind of took a bit more time
So
from the
just one point from my side, like whenever the new spec come on, uh, review it thoroughly, make sure we will agree on what is being implemented and what is not.
yeah.
The previous spec was merged, assuming that this will be accepted. Now we are concluding that we should only focus on this specific thing. So whatever the next spec comes, we need to make sure that we are all are on the same page.
Yeah, we kind of were in the same page for the other scenario as well. But the thing is, like the whole implementation with the NetApp driver and the testing changed. So that's why we are just like switching. But we were also okay with the other approach, and would be really happy if we could get uh, the encryption at the share level as well. So yeah, I agree, and I think we should review this. But yeah, we kind of had consensus. So, and now that we have like a whole different approach and a whole different way that this will be implemented, again, like this diverges a lot from the original idea. So it's not that we didn't agree initially. It's just that there were lots of changes, and yeah, we just need to make the spec reflecting what the current implementation is. Otherwise, at some point, we will get lost and we will not know exactly what's implemented and what's not. So yeah, let's everybody review the change. I think we have a kind of a path to follow now, and we can see what's going to be implemented and what's not going to be implemented. So yeah, thanks, and we'll take a look at this back. Awesome. So I think that takes us to the next topic. We took a bit of time on this one, but it was great. Thanks again, everyone. Sai, Kiran, Saravana, Gautam, everyone that pitched in, Maurice too. I think we can go to the next one, which is replication improvements. So, Saravana, would you like to get started on this?
Yeah. Yes, Carlos. Yeah. This is a minor tweak to what we are already offering for DR in Manila for on tap. So today, even we can create replica for every share. But what happens, right? Even we have another field called schedule we can pass. So, so right now, if you look at right, any DR we are creating in um, uh, Manila for in NetApp driver, we always use mirror all snapshots. If you look at line number 196, 196, right, where you see that mirror all snap policy, 196, yeah. So mirror all snapshots, yeah, that's what we are always using it. So that is fine. That is meant for sixth mirror, asynchronous mirror, and that NetApp supported long back. So in the recent days, right, even NetApp started introducing a lot of new policies. So example, we have got something called a sync and we have got something called strict sync, and we have something called automated failover, automated fail duplex. A lot of policies came, and so recently, like the difference between sync, right? The difference between sync and mirror or snapshots, right? So in mirror all snapshots, like yeah, the mirror happens, and even we can pass schedule. Maybe the minimum time is 5 minutes. That's what I see that in our code. So maybe like there's a 5 minutes of delta, and that's what happening, and that's why user can control copying data from primary to secondary. But now everyone interested to have RPO 0. RPO is the recovery point objective. If you look at line number 198 in 198, and there's something called SM-S. That is what we call as synchronous mirror. Yeah, snap mirror synchronous. So if you do this snap mirror synchronous, right, even we'll be able to achieve 0 RPO. So it means like whatever data written to primary, immediately it is written to secondary. Okay, and that is a concept here. And how we can achieve that? We can achieve that 0 RPO only by doing these two policies, sync and strict sync. That's what I called out in the line of 197. 197, right, the beginning of the line. We see like a sync and strict sync. These two policies are there. So now what we have to do, like in Manila NetApp driver, right? We need to find a way how we can pass this policy to the driver. So that's what our goal is, and that's what we have to look at. How can I do that? And so there are two thoughts available. I mean, there are two kinds of options we have. So one option is like today in extra spec, right? There's something called replication type. Line number 204, Carlos, line number 204. So in a replication type, we can pass three values: dr, writable, readable. So by default, dr means we always assume mirror or snapshots. So now we need to understand like how can I pass policy like a sync and strict sync. So like maybe I can have two more values here, and directly I can call sync and strict sync. We can do, but that is more of NetApp. But I don't know whether all of us will agree to that. That is one option I have. The other option is maybe we can have introduced one more field called replication policy. There only 204. 204 also we have two options there. Yeah, 204, line number 204. So we can introduce one more field called replication policy. So there I can pass sync and strict sync. So yeah, I think that I prefer maybe we can follow that option number one. And yeah, in option number two, it is more of Cinder way. And because Cinder, right, everything is controlled by the cinder.conf. Like there you can give a replication backend where you'll give your aggregate map. Many things you provide there. Maybe you don't need all of them in Manila, but at least we can introduce this policy that is called line number 210, right? So we can introduce a NetApp level value called NetApp SnapMirror policy type. There I can pass sync, strict sync. If I don't pass anything, I always assume it's mirror or snapshots. Okay, yeah. These two options are there. Maybe wanted to know like which one is better and which one we can do to support achieving RPO equal to 0. Yeah, that's what I wanted to share. And yeah, maybe I just want to open. I mean, yeah, I'm open to the questions now, and also open to your thoughts and ideas. Yeah.
Thank you. Yeah, that's a great feature. I was looking initially at the yeah, sounds good, like the first approach, but I was wondering if have you looked into having this as a share type extra spec? I mean, we
Yeah.
can have, of course, like the replication policy, but I mean, there's another way that we can do this, which is it would be more flexible, I would say. I can look at this, I might be missing something, but um, if we have it as a part of the share type extra specs, then you can control what it would be configured, like, and the share type would also be like a helpful thing. We can have like a NetApp specific extra spec as we do, for example, for like QoS and other things that you said, some NetApp colon something.
Yeah.
Maybe that's one of the approaches that we can take as well.
Yeah.
I would
Okay.
also like look into I need to look myself into how like this is being done in other backends and other storages, like this replication policy. But yeah, if it's kind of like more of a common and industry standard or something like that, I would lean into the new field. Otherwise, I
Okay.
think share type or something like that would also be a good approach. I'm not sure if there are any other ideas different to that, but yeah, that's one of the approaches that I thought about this year.
I had a question.
Uh,
Yeah, go ahead first. You had a response to that.
Yeah, maybe I heard what Carlos mentioned. Yeah, maybe a replication policy. If, you can look at other vendor, but yeah, if that is not there, yeah, I agree with you. Maybe I missed that. We can have NetApp specific extra spec, and yeah, I can call it out. And maybe that path we can follow to implement that. Yeah, that's my response to Carlos. Yeah. Yes, Gautam, go ahead with your questions. Yeah.
So this is only in case of DR, is it? It's not with the other two kinds of replication.
Yeah. Yeah, our it cannot be writable. It's only for DR only. Yeah.
Okay. All right. Yeah, it sounds like a good use case for scoped extra specs, because that's what this would become like. I mean, so extra specs are not just what the scheduler can match against; it's also directives to what the driver can do. Um, the in case you are creating a DR replica or a DR share that you will replicate, that you
Okay.
will want, this is one other detail. And this applies
Yeah.
only with respect to a specific backend that you have,
Yeah.
perhaps. So that's why a scoped extra spec is a better vehicle for this. Um,
Okay.
a config option is less effective, partially because you have a driver that can do both. Limiting it with config options sounds a little more excessive.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Is there a reason, or some sort of a use case where you would want to expose this to an end user? As to, I mean, I don't know what all bells and whistles are actually being exposed to end users when it comes to sync versus strict sync kind of replication. What is the end user supposed to expect from, like,
Yeah.
in terms of behavior?
Behavior, that's what, even they will never get into any data loss. That's what it is. Example,
Mm.
when they mounted share in the VM, when they start writing it, right? And so whatever they're writing to the primary, right? So everything is copied to secondary immediately. Yeah. And so they, even there is a DR, there is a disaster happens, right? And so there is no loss of data. And so this is what, even 5 minutes is fine, but we can't claim this RPO equal to 0, because that is one of the standard now everyone looking at. So just for us to claim RPO equal to 0, that's why we need to introduce this. So otherwise we are very well with the 5 minutes delay of copying.
Yeah,
So
no,
but
this is
yeah, yeah, yeah,
the reason I'm asking also is because I think when we first implemented replication, we had the same question.
yeah,
How do I
yeah, yeah,
expose
yeah.
what the backend is doing, in terms of
Okay,
the RPO and RTO?
okay,
And I don't think we solved that problem at all. We basically pushed it to the backends and we said, let's let the backend decide, and then administrator
okay.
just knows what the RPO or RTO is, and
Okay,
maybe
okay,
they'll be kind enough to write it down in the share type description or something that says, there's going to be an RPO RTO of 60 minutes or 5 minutes or something like that.
yeah,
um, and so that's how the current system works. Not the greatest, which means it's not automated, not exposed to end users and so on. And that's
okay,
fine. That's a fine approach because it's been working. Where
yeah,
you would have like a scoped extra spec, like NetApp snap mirror
mhm,
policy type, etc.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
And then if an administrator is setting that up, they know what the RPO RTO is. They'll
Yes,
probably
okay,
put it down in the share type description, so
okay,
that a gold replication type, for instance, can do an RPO of 0,
mhm,
or something like that. Like, that's something that they can sell to their customers and things.
okay,
Yeah, I was just curious
yeah,
also because I
yeah,
think in
mhm,
the SnapMirror context in the past, I think there was a sync
yeah,
schedule that we had not exposed even as a config option. Um,
okay.
and I don't know whether that affects this, as
Why it was not exposed? And but now on time
just
documenting.
yeah,
Mhm.
just a tech debt.
Okay,
Like,
okay, dead. Okay, okay, that way.
we
Yeah,
just hard coded it to 60 minutes and said that's enough for the first
that's
go,
it. Okay, okay. Let's
and
go.
it's
Okay,
just
okay.
been years and nobody complained.
Yeah.
So that's what I mean. Like,
Okay, okay.
it's something that you may want to revisit with this new improvement. But this
Yeah,
sounds like a nice vehicle for. I mean, sorry, Scope
okay.
Spec sounds like a nice vehicle for what
Yeah,
you're
yeah, sure, sure. Yeah,
using.
yeah. Yeah. Also, one more, even we can achieve RTO equal to 0, but that is something we have to do beyond the OpenStack. Yeah. So only when the IP we have that DNS mapping, because second anyway will have different IP address, and how we have to break. Yeah, so there are a lot of things, but in Cinder we are achieving RPO, RTO, but at least in Manila we want to achieve RPO equal to 0. Okay, yeah, thank you. Yeah, this is fine. I think I missed this NetApp scope extra spec, and thank you for pointing it out. And I think that's a nice way to implement this, and yeah, we will do that. Okay, yeah, thank you.
No problem.
Question. Can you please double check if maybe mounting it readable is possible? So you said
Okay,
writable, no, and that's understandable, but maybe readable works.
readable. I can check. Yeah.
A quick check on the documentation says that SMS supports this, but yeah, would be good. The experts can have a look.
Do you have any expectation, Maurice here? Like, you want the decision to be? I mean, anything you have? If you have any other, yeah, I can check this.
I would think it's very attractive to have readable replication, which has
Yeah.
RPO of 0.
Okay, okay. Yeah, I will check it definitely.
As we are currently we're currently changing from DR to readable for async, and yeah, if we now would switch to sync, it would be hard to move away from readable again.
Okay. Sure, sure. Yeah, I will check and yeah, I'll ping you. Okay, we'll discuss on this. Okay. Okay, thank you. Yeah.
Awesome. Thank you. So, any other questions for Sravanan? Taking silence though. We are 5 minutes behind on the schedule, but I think we can afford this 5 minute break. It's after 1 hour of discussion. So let's take this 5 minute break, and I'll see you in 5 minutes for operator concerns and questions, and some other questions posted that we had added to the agenda. Right. See you in 5 minutes. All right. Welcome back, everyone. Um, good. I think we can resume with the discussions. Next up, we have some concerns and questions or some things operator related. Um, and yeah, next up, we'll have the affinity and anti-affinity spec updates. So yeah, let's get started with this topic. Maurice?
Yes. Yeah, I would have a quick brainstorming session. Yes, things came up that our operators from time to time have to change, and I was thinking where would be the best place to put this in Manila. So I grouped it under the topic protocol options here. So one thing is like if our clients want to mount their NFS under Windows, we need to change the NFS permissions for them in order that they would be able to write something. So yeah, whenever they so they always have to open a ticket and we change it, and then we change Unix permissions to 777, and then this works in a similar fashion. This NFS all crush option, we always then would need to change the policy on the access rule. Yeah, my question would now be, I would give the control to the user to change this, but I would not want to make this too big. Like I would not want to have an extra share type for this. Maybe having a separate protocol for this would also be too big, I think. But yeah, something smaller we don't really have. Like we don't have something we can attach to an access rule. We could do them. We could put it in the metadata and then yeah, do this driver metadata thingy we just introduced. But yeah, also looks a bit like a hack. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, thanks for bringing that up. This first, let me see if I get this right. So this might change depending on like the need, right? So it's not something that you set once and then you will leave it there, and then at some point it would be like it would not be updated, or it would only be updated by a driver restart, for example, right? It would be something that you will need to keep changing, correct?
No, I think it would be okay if this is just set at share create time.
Cool. So there is one approach that I think we can take as well. I'm not sure if you looked at this, but in the past, or if you've seen this feature in the past, but I've worked on a feature a couple of cycles ago. Let me take a look at this. CFS file system metadata. Yeah, that's the one. Let's see. These are the changes. Right. So we currently have in the code a new configuration option to specify some admin metadata, and we say that admin metadata, but it's something that I'll get to the point where of when we set it. So currently, what we do is whenever we are creating the share, we call this method, which is called get optional share creation data. And then we'll ask the driver if there is any data that you would like to set, if the driver has any data it would like to set. So currently, and then alongside that, I've implemented one configuration option to block things. So this configuration option is called admin metadata keys. So what happens is during the share creation, the share manager will call that method, and then it will call the driver and check if there are any optional share creation data that needs to be set as a metadata to the share. So what we do then is we ask the driver, and then we get this metadata, and then we set it into the metadata. And how are we doing this in the CFFS driver? Well, there's one thing with the CFFS driver. When you are using the CFFS protocol, you need some additional information in order to in order to mount the share. So we implemented that call to the driver, and then we have the protocol helper, and the protocol helper will pretty much set the metadata that we need. And this metadata, in this case, we are saying that we are setting mount options. And then what we need when mounting shares what can be helpful when mounting shares is we need the file system name. The file system here being all of the shares are exported as subvolumes, and when you are mounting a subvolume, you need the volume name, which would be the pool in this case. So we return as part of the metadata these mount options, and this is based on the protocol, right? So if the protocol was NFS and we needed to specify something related to NFS, we would also implement this um, in the NFS protocol helper, and then we would
But
set.
sorry
Yep.
to interrupt you, but that isn't that the other way around? So this is not a user input. This is the driver
Yeah, the driver
presenting
input.
some data back to the user.
Yeah. So there is one thing that we could do now for user input. We will not allow to change configuration, right? So yeah, configuration would be off the thing. So what I was thinking of for user or admin input in that case would be, yeah, likely trying to have an approach where we set this somewhere, and then we can go and get this and set this as part of this metadata, just like we're using this piece. And then the NetApp driver would, instead of like getting this something base that set on the driver, then we would get something that the user configured. Uh, yeah, likely I can think only of like metadata for these. All right, I'm thinking a lot alongside the metadata for it.
Mm.
So yeah, I don't know if other people have other bright ideas on how to figure this out. Uh, but yeah, at least that's one of the ideas that I was thinking of, and that feature is setting something in the shares metadata. So the share access rules, it can also have its own metadata, right, as you said, and yeah, that's an interesting thing. Do you guys have any? I'm curious now if other people have other different sorts of suggestions for this.
Hey Carlos, technical issue.
Yep.
I have to stop the recording just so that we could desync, and I'll restart it.
Yeah, no problem.